So here's the latest unbelievable twist in the Jeffrey Epstein saga. It turns out, first of all, we already showed you that a guard at the jail said that they took him out the night before, put him in a van that wasn't registered like they normally have transportation vans registered. They don't normally come on the weekend. They came on the weekend, no paperwork. They got him out of there in a wheelchair and put him in, and he's gone. And so we already showed you that. So that's credible. That's credible from a guard, confirmed guard inside the prison. Well, now we find out that they drafted his death certificate the day before. A draft statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office dated August 9th, 2019, the day before Jeffrey Epstein died on August 10th, states that Epstein was found dead in his cell. So there's a draft statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office dated August 9th, 2019, the day before Epstein supposedly died. They already had a draft saying that Epstein was found dead in his cell. Nothing suspicious about this. That's what I say. It's probably brought to you by the same team that advanced reported JFK's assassination and called Building 7 coming down before it actually did. Do you remember they knew Building 7 came down 20 minutes before it did? They talked about it on the TV. But the building was still standing, and they're saying, oh, Building 7 went down. So here's the thing. United States Attorney's Office, Southern District of New York. Jeffrey S. Berman. There's the date, August 9th. U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Berman said, earlier this morning, the Manhattan Correction Center confirmed that Jeffrey Epstein, who faced charges brought by his office for engaging in trafficking of minors, had been found unresponsive in his cell and pronounced dead shortly thereafter. He was unresponsive because they didn't say the right thing. They should have said, are you ready to go to Israel? And then he was like, oh, yeah, I'm ready. So that was on August 9th. He didn't die until the next day. Whoa, nothing suspicious there. I guess they were just psychic. The people at the United States Attorney's Office, they were just psychic. I mean, I'm sorry, I mean psychotic. I always get those two. I get those two mixed up in Hollywood. And either they were psychic or they watched that show, which always seems to accurately predict the future. What's it called? The Simpsons. Here's the Sunday Guardian. Was Jeffrey Epstein's death a conspiracy? Newly released Epstein files show death statement drafted a day before his death. Huh. No kidding. Huh. So it's obvious that Donald Trump had him whacked. He even left his calling card, lots of fabric colored in orange. Am I right? Come on. Newly released U.S. More than 6 years after the disgraced they call him a disgraced financier instead of a convicted PDF file. Isn't that something? That's how they always refer to him, as disgraced financier. Who did he finance? Nobody knows. How did he make his money? Nobody knows. Was found dead inside a New York jail cell. Fresh disclosures have revived doubts about the official narrative and raised troubling questions about what authorities knew and when. As more Epstein-related files enter the public domain, scrutiny has intensified around the events leading up to August 10th, 2019. I think it's very credible. I've seen a lot of credible evidence that Jeffrey Epstein isn't dead. And the fact that he worked for the Rothschilds and the Mossad, they probably did. It's good. They're just as... I wouldn't have a hard time believing that they got him out of there, just like that prison guard said, and he's living in Israel or somewhere else. Maybe he's got another island. The documents have reignited debate over prison security failures. They weren't failures. They were supposed to check his cell every half hour, and they didn't. They didn't check his cell for like 7 hours straight. That's not a failure. That's intentional. Okay. According to newly released DOJ records, a formal statement regarding his death dated August 9th, 2019, while Epstein was found unresponsive in his cell, blah, 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 he was found the next day. Yeah. The draft statement appears among multiple documents prepared by the Southern District of New York's U.S. Attorney's Office. Its existence has raised eyebrows because it suggests officials had prepared language about Epstein's death before it occurred. It suggests. They're showing you. An unusual step in a high-profile criminal case. The predated statement attributed to then U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Berman confirmed Epstein's death and acknowledged the seriousness of the situation. Really? Okay. It stated earlier this morning. Well, I just read it to you. The statement indicates that the events that occurred were disturbing and could hinder efforts to give victims their day in court, stating that the investigation into the charges, including conspiracy, would continue. Really? Security failures at the jail, malfunctioning cameras. The camera malfunction. Do you son of a gun, you put him in the cell that had the bad camera? Oh, chagrin. You weren't supposed to do that. Here's a promotion. And here's that $5,000 we told you. I found this. There's $5,000. Critics argue that the convergence of timing inconsistencies and security lapses creates fertile ground for suspicion. Did critics argue? You don't have to argue that. That's what it does. Officials, that's like saying critics argue that water is wet. Officials have consistently denied any suggestion of foul play. Okay, I don't think there was foul play. The foul play didn't involve Jeffrey Epstein's killing. The foul play, it involved killing the guy who looked a little bit like Jeffrey Epstein and then leaving him in a cell. That was the foul play. Because that picture of the guy they said was Jeffrey Epstein doesn't look like Jeffrey Epstein. So there's no uninterrupted surveillance footage of his cell. I wonder why. Oh, hey, who entered Epstein's jail tier the night of his death? Newly released video logs appear to contradict official accounts. No kidding. No kidding. The entire story is framed around the notion that he's dead, which recent revelations put into question. It makes sense that the mainstream will try everything now to add elaborate details to what went wrong, but still maintaining that Jeffrey Epstein's now dead and you don't need to look any further. Newly released Department of Justice documents show that investigators reviewing surveillance footage from the night of Jeffrey Epstein's death observed an orange-colored shape moving up a staircase towards the isolated locked-up tier where his cell was located at approximately 10:39 p.m. on August 9th. That entry in an observation log of the video from the Metropolitan Correction Center appears to suggest something previously unreported by authorities. Quote, a flash of orange looks to be going up the L tier stairs. Could possibly be an inmate escorted up that tier. A flash of orange going up the stairs? I'm surprised they didn't try to pass it off as Jeffrey Epstein's soul just going up to heaven. God was really pissed off at him, and he made him take the stairs.
Non mi sorprende che Epstein fosse coinvolto in quello che stava succedendo in Ucraina, coinvolto in come trarre vantaggio dal paese e dai suoi sconvolgimenti, come trarre vantaggio dai bambini di quel paese. Non mi sorprende affatto. L'unica cosa che mi sorprende è che sia quasi un circolo vizioso vedere così tante storie che hanno dominato i titoli dei giornali nell'ultimo decennio, vedere il suo nome così attivamente coinvolto, vedere il suo coinvolgimento in quello che stava succedendo in Ucraina e il suo, quello che sembra essere una sorta di coaching nei confronti di Zelensky, il che, ripeto, non dovrebbe sorprendere perché sembra che tutte queste persone siano comunque interconnesse in qualche modo. Vedere che questo emerge, credo ancora una volta, che l'unica sorpresa sia come fosse così ovvio che nessuno abbia nemmeno pensato di prenderlo in considerazione. Stiamo lavorando ad un articolo che pubblicheremo domani, specifico per questo argomento, perché come hai giustamente detto Mike, se ne è parlato pochissimo, quasi niente. Ci sono così tanti nomi collegati a Jeffrey Epstein, uno di cui non si sente parlare affatto è Zelensky, eppure sembra essere estremamente legato a Jeffrey Epstein.